helping folks hear Him. And perhaps the best way to think about that is to think about all the many, many ways in which Jesus communicated. You know, Jesus taught. Jesus would give a sermon. Jesus would use parables. He'd tell stories. He'd ask questions. All of these things are tools that Jesus would use depending on whom he was communicating to help that person or that group of people hear him. Now, let me add this. Jesus never owned their response. He wanted them to hear him, but their response to him was theirs. You and I need to take responsibility for helping people to hear us when we communicate. Have you ever wondered why Jesus, when he would do miracles of healing, would touch some people and he wouldn't touch others? You know, Jesus' words have power, right? I mean, he could, at any moment, look at anybody and say, "Be healed," and boom, it would happen. But there are some occasions in the Bible where Jesus will go and heal by touch. Why? Because touch is the most powerful form of communication there is. And when you think of a leper who hadn't experienced human touch in years, yeah, Jesus could have stood 6 feet away and looked at the leper and said, "You know, be healed," and it would have happened. But instead, Jesus goes over and touches the leper. And in that touch, even if Jesus had said nothing, there was power in that. One of the most effective scenes of communication that we have in the gospel is a scene where, in fact, Jesus doesn't say a thing. Jesus doesn't even touch anybody. Remember that scene in the gospel where the guys bring a woman to Jesus and they've accused her of sin, right? They're going to publicly shame her. And they decide, hey, while we're publicly shaming this woman, why don't we see if we can trick Jesus all at the same time, kind of a 2-for-1 deal here this afternoon. And so they bring this woman to Jesus and just lay out her story, and they say, "Jesus, now, what are you going to do?" Remember what Jesus done? In the dirt, he draws. We don't know what he drew. I have no idea what he drew. Doesn't say a word. It simply draws in the dirt. But that communication was so powerful that the man that had brought this woman to Jesus see what's in the dirt, and one by one, they walk away. Jesus is just a master communicator. Master communicator. Always assume responsibility for helping those, whoever they were, hear him. I'm glad that Jesus does that for me and for you. And so as we think about Jesus as being the one who perfectly nurtures, sustains, creates relationships, we can learn from him as well about this matter of communication that is the fuel for healthy relationships. Let's pray together. Father God, we realize that Jesus taught, spoke, demonstrated a tremendous amount about communication, about communicating with you, our Heavenly Father, about communicating with one another. And Jesus always so perfectly knew his audience. And so whether it was through touch or through parable, through sermon, through teaching, through word pictures, through drawing, through questioning, whatever it was, Jesus sought to communicate in honest, trusting ways that truly reflected who he was. And Lord, as we recognize this morning that communication is not easy, it's complex. And we bear these principles practiced and demonstrated by Jesus in our own lives as we communicate through a variety of ways. Within the body of Christ, within our home, with folks at work. And Lord, we thank you that the ultimate in communication was you incarnating your Son and revealing yourself through him to us. And for that we're grateful and stand in awe. In Jesus' name we pray.